Hello, Lisa here. Welcome back to my channel and welcome to this walkthrough of the Healing Waves Tarot by Nawan June Hasiri. Oh my gosh. Okay, so this video needs to come with a very important disclaimer. This deck, as far as I know, is no longer available. I'm really sorry. This was a really special Indiegogo campaign. I cannot remember, and I've been told multiple times, and I apologize because my memory is awful. But I was originally made aware of this deck by somebody in the Supportive Tarot Facebook group who tagged me in this Indiegogo campaign for the Healing Waves Tarot. The reason that it's no longer available, to the best of my knowledge, and you might be able to find, there might be some, if you keep your eye on the creator's Instagram and social media, which I will have linked down below, it is possible that once all the Indiegogo decks have delivered, any cancellations or returns may become available for a short period of time. But as far as I know, this deck is already done. The creator, Nawan, made it very clear that she was only going to do this one run of these decks and then was going to move on to other things. So as far as I know, there are no planned reprints of this deck ever. And I'm really sorry. I haven't had that experience necessarily before. All I know is that when I first saw this artwork, I fell in love. And when I found it on Indiegogo, the campaign was struggling to gain some traction. And I got really excited and probably actually a little bit obnoxious about it. But I messaged the creator and was like, there's not enough photos on your thing and I'm worried. I want people to back it. And I was telling other people about it. And I ended up speaking with the creator for a bit and kind of talking through some different things and production quality things and just getting all up in it, trying to make sure it could be as successful as possible. I was really nosy. The poor creator was probably like, oh my God, lady, calm down. But I was really excited. And all of this led to, I said, if you can get me a sample of some cards, even just a few that I can share in a video, maybe we can get this campaign to meet its goal. And the campaign was set up in such a way that if it had not, I believe, if it had not met its goal by a certain date, it just wouldn't have happened. So I was really passionate about it. And again, obnoxious, I'm quite sure. But the creator did send me some sample cards. That's what you see over here in the corner. And I did make a video talking through my impressions and experience of this little mini sample, which was only of some specific cards. I basically sent the creator a list of cards that I think what people might want to see to give them an idea of the deck. And this was what the creator had sent me. And we did manage to get the campaign funded. It was really, really exciting. And it was just a whole experience. But I also went on and backed the deck at the level that would get me a little art print, the deck, the book, and just patiently, ever so patiently waited. And I think it's important to point out this campaign has been, I think, a nerve-wracking one for a lot of people to participate in because, of course, there's been a lot of delays along the way and the communication has been kind of hit or miss, but that's partly a language barrier issue that has been challenging, I think, for the creator. And I personally feel like what I've received is well worth any worries, any waits. So I hope everybody who backs this, or who backed this rather, had a similar experience where even though it might have been some gaps in communication or it might have taken longer, that they're happy with the finished product, because I definitely am, and we're going to be talking through all of that. But I think it's also fair to own my bias. I was a freakishly obsessed fangirl of this deck when it was on Indiegogo, and so I'm heavily biased. There's something about this deck, about the quality of this artwork that just grabbed me from the beginning. And I was obsessed. So I'm probably not going to have anything negative to say about this deck, which, of course, that makes sense. That's, I'm in love with it. But keep that in mind. If you're looking for something really fair and unbiased, you're not going to find it here. I just love it. So spoiler alert, it's amazing. But that being said, that it is unfortunate for those of you who are just now finding it, hearing about it, or falling in love with it, because I don't know how easy it's going to be to get your hands on it. That said, I'm sure there's plenty of people who have backed this, who backed it on impulse, who will get it and decide they don't like it and put it up on eBay or throw it up on, a trade group or whatever. So keep your eyes out. You might still be able to snag a copy. But regardless, we're going to get into all the stuff that I got here, and anyways, it was pretty great. So before I get into the deck itself, I just want to do a quick overview of the other goodies that came in my package from the creator. So I backed at the level that would get me an art print, but also there was with the package, so this is my art print, it's the Fool card, and it's not much bigger than the deck, right? It's about, slightly larger than the tarot size, but the original artwork wasn't actually all that large. So a print, in order to really look like one of the cards, is going to be not much bigger than the tarot cards either. But this is the Fool. It's really, really lovely. It's on a really nice heavy like watercolor, nice heavy watercolor paper. It just feels really beautiful in the hand. So that's the print that came with my deck. There was also a really nice note with this beautiful piece of artwork done by the creator, which was really special. And I was almost in tears, you guys, when I got this note, because they were just thanking me for helping them with the campaign. And they actually included, Nawan actually included one of the original artworks of the deck, which I was blown away. This is the King of Pentacles, and we'll talk through this when I go through the cards. But this was such a generous gift from the creator, and I have to say thank you, because this deck means so much to me. I'm going to have to find a nice way to frame this. It's absolutely beautiful. I love the sea turtles that are present, and the pearls present through the Pentacles suit, which we'll talk more about when we get there. But I had to share this. This is so special and beautiful. So yeah, I'm really excited to get this put up, hung up on my wall somewhere. Really, really excited. So thank you so much to Nawan for sending that to me. That was really, really sweet. And then, of course, what everybody gets with their deck is a certificate, essentially, of authenticity that is signed by the creator here and has this little blue logo, which is the Kamelt Studios logo, which is the team that helped to put this together. And then there's also a link to get the downloadable guidebook as well, because everybody got a downloadable, I believe everybody got a PDF downloadable like guidebook. I did back at a level that also got me a physical copy of the book, which we're going to take a peek at the end. But it is really nice. It's a hardcover, so we'll talk more about that when we get there. But for now, I need to get into the cards. So this is a really lovely box that has that soft touch finish. It's a really smooth, soft touch. If you don't know, by the way, because I don't know when I'm going to put this video up, probably really soon. I'm filming it, and I'm probably going to want it to go up right away because I'm going to be working with this deck right away. But I'm working on a really comprehensive cardstock video, so keep your eyes on the channel. It's going to be a bit to put it together because there's a lot of different components to it. But I am working on a cardstock video, but I've been learning a lot about cardstock. Like, I thought I was a cardstock geek, and I thought I had all this information in my head, but there's so much more. Anyways, this is what we've commonly been calling rose petal finish, but it's smoother and slicker than some of them, so it feels really, really lovely. Now the back of the box, or the bottom of the box, is the same design you'll find on the back of the cards, or similar, I should say. It looks like it is different, actually. Maybe more zoomed in to this spot here. Yeah. So it's more zoomed into this spot here, and it's a slightly different shade of blue, but of my sample, I should say, of my sample, because I haven't seen the back. I haven't compared it to the back of the real deck. But anyways, it's got thumb cutouts on the side. It's a really nice snug fit, but not so snug that it is hard to get the lid on and off. Really luxurious feel. Still has the same design on the inside, which, if you don't know, this design here is meant to mimic what the surface of water looks like if you were looking down at the top of the ocean as all the little waves were lapping and such. Really beautiful. So set that aside. And I was so excited to see, so the deck is edged in this beautiful cerulean blue that matches the back, and this is where we compare. So it does look like the color is just slightly different than the sample deck. You can see it here. So this was my sample deck. It's almost got a little bit more of a green in it, and it's a little more true blue. I don't know. I'm not good at describing colors, but anyway, you can see the difference between the two there. So I'll get rid of my prototype card here, and I'll also grab. So this is, oh my gosh, it's so pretty. So you can see the print I got, right, is compared to the card. Now the cards have the same finish that the box has. So it feels like a smooth, soft touch, kind of rose petal-y, but it's definitely less sticky. So some rose petal cards have a heavy, kind of thick rose petal feeling coating. These have a smoother one, so I suspect they'll shuffle and come back together. They don't seem to clump too much. I say that and then a big bunch of them clumped, but they feel like they'll break in a little bit better than some others. Anyway, that's what the backing looks like. That's the edging, and that's a description of the cardstock. I believe these are 350 GSM cardstock, but they feel like they've got some nice bends. So it's possible that they're 330, but I feel like they're 350. Who knows? I don't know. I don't remember. I think 350 is what the creator said they were going to do, but I don't know for sure. So let's get zoomed in and go through. And I think what I'd like to do also is just do a quick color comparison. Yeah, the cardstock feels like the sample card deck that I had a smooth matte finish, and the new one has this slightly slightly softer touch, velvet touch kind of feel. Okay. So I wanted to, yeah, here we go. I wanted to compare coloring because I do think the colors are corrected a little bit in this. Yeah, they are. So just like the backings kind of felt like they had a little bit of that green tinge, so do the fronts. I don't know if you can see that here, but this feels a little bit more correct. Like it feels like there's some color adjusting that has happened. So the creator obviously put quite a bit of effort into making sure that the final product, the colors would be true to life, right? Or true to what the painting was, because you can see it even here in the print. And actually, you know what the best comparison would be is when we get to the King of Pentacles, I'll pull out the original artwork and we can see how it lines up with the card. Yeah, I think that'll be a cool color comparison. So anyways, let's start going through the cards. So the Fool shows somebody kind of diving into the ocean and into the same kind of ocean we see on the backs of the card, which I think is really cool. So it's like the back of the card represents like that looking into the water that you're diving into. And before I forget, sorry, I know we're gonna go through, I swear. But before I forget, one of the things that really, really, really attracted me to this deck is that the artwork was all done in watercolor, but the watercolors were, the water used to activate the watercolor paint was seawater that Nawan had collected, which I think is just really powerful and beautiful. So this deck is actually made of the sea, which I think is extra special. But anyway, so our Fool is jumping off the cliff into the sea, into the unknown. There's a real leap of faith energy here. Our Magician is a scuba diver, so he's got all the elements at his disposable. That's what I just said. He's got all the elements of the world at his disposal. He's holding, it looks like he's holding is he holding a cup or it's a light. He's holding a light. So he's in this as above, so below position here and is surrounded by all this beautiful sea life and coral. We get the idea that the sun is shining brightly above him. Love that. This gorgeous whale for the High Priestess has always been enchanting to me. And I'm really bad at whales. I think this is a blue whale for the Empress. I'm probably getting it wrong. Please feel free to correct me below. I love this. I love the Empress with her young here. So beautiful. And humpback whale. I might have these two backwards, but maybe this is the blue whale and this is the humpback whale. Gray whale? Maybe this is a gray whale. Gosh, you guys, I'm not good at this part. So there's our different, and then there's our Emperor. I love the energy of being under the sea. The Manatee for the Hierophant. So beautiful. These little seahorses for the Lovers. I love them so much. Oh my God, I love ocean creatures. Dolphins pulling the Chariot. I love that image. I'm going to say I love it a lot. I'm sorry, that might get really repetitive for you guys. I apologize in advance. Our Mermaid and Tiger Shark for Strength. I love this because the ferocity of the shark and the gentleness of the mermaid is exactly what I want to see in a strength card. A Hermit Crab for the Hermit card. I love this, and I love these little glowing stars kind of illuminating the crab from sort of the ground level up. It's really, really pretty. A Ship's Wheel for the Wheel of Fortune. This is a symbol that I've seen in other decks too, and it's really grown on me as a concept because, of course, when we think of the Ship's Wheel, we think of how we take fate in our own hands in a way, but also how we're at the mercy of the sea as well. Like the storms that come, we can't control that, but we can control how we navigate through those changes. And that's kind of what this makes me think of. The Hammerhead Shark for Justice. I love that. The Hanged Man, we have this octopus. All hanging from this anchor. But you can tell it's like holding on out of choice, right? Love this Death card. This is one I got to see ahead of time. Beautiful. Temperance. There is something that does bug me about this Temperance card. And it's only because, like, it's a perspective thing. But I feel like, and maybe you're looking at it different. I'd love to hear your perspective. But because she seems like she's sitting on the ground on the beach and her tail is down into this pool of water, I feel like the water, like the little ring of water where her tail's in, I feel like the ring of water should be up here by her knees or her knee. Is it a knee or a knees if you're a mermaid? I guess it's a knee. Is it even a knee? Anyways, I feel like it should be up here, not down there. So that kind of throws my perspective a little bit. I don't know what that's about. That could be just me. We could also see her leaning back and like her knee could be higher. It's a funny perspective for me, but she's a beautiful mermaid and I love that. The anglerfish. The anglerfish for the Devil is great. He's got his light lure. He's a deep water fish. So he lures these other little fishes in and then he noms them. The Lighthouse Tower, great with all this like crashing waves, very powerful and dynamic. The Star. Gorgeous. See, here the perspective works for me because you can tell, because we're sideways here, that it's only the bottom part of her tail dipping below the water. I love this moon. I love ocean scenes. I love the moon. I just love it. The sun. This is, I think, a sunfish. And we have all these little baby sea turtles. Judgment. I love that the angel's blowing on a conch shell as opposed to a horn. Or a horn. And all of our mermaids are waiting here to potentially ascend. And the world card, just surrounded by this school of fish, is such a pretty card. And now we're into the minors. So we have our Ace of Earth. They're called Earth, Air, Fire, Water, not Pentacles, Swords, Cups, and Wands. But I love the concept of the pearl because, of course, in the sea, the pearl is the thing that I think we would most associate with like money or with finance or with treasure. So that imagery really works for me. And the Ace of Earth is finding the pearl in the shell, in the oyster shell, just really is an effective way to communicate what the Ace of Earth is all about, I think. Our dolphin balancing these two balls on its nose, little bottlenose dolphin, is so cute. And mostly through the pentacles, you're going to see these crabs kind of engaging with their surroundings in different ways. In the Three of Earth, you can tell that these three crabs are working together to sort of build some sort of structure, perhaps to store their pearls in. In the Four of Earth, you have a crab who's like daring you to try to take one of its pearls here. Like it's very close to like protecting itself and its little stash of pearls. In the Five of Earth, we have a hermit crab stuck in this broken bottle. And you get this feeling like, oh, he needs a proper home, right? So it really evokes that feeling of the Five of Pentacles. And our pearls are over here to the side. So he's got resources. He just needs to get out of this like broken bottle and find a proper home. The Six of Pentacles, we have our crabs over here and they're sort of weighing out. This one's got bigger pearls, but maybe they're lighter. And this one's got smaller pearls, but maybe they're heavier. So it all balances out. I love this Seven of Earth because we have our mama turtle here, sea turtle, who's laid her eggs. And now she's got to trust that her babies are going to be okay, right? There's an element of like she's come in, she's laid her eggs, and then she's got to leave again. And she's going to have to hope that the work that she's put in, that she's put them somewhere safe, that they can come to the point where they can hatch and return to the sea. The Eight of Earth, building like a pearl necklace, it looks like, some kind of pearl. Yeah, because there's like all these like little crystals and gems. It's like our crab is doing some beadwork, which to me that works for the Eight of Pentacles. I get it, it's kind of, or Eight of Earth. It's kind of semi-ridiculous. Of course, that wouldn't happen in real life, but it's neat, right? You get the idea of like making something beautiful and continuing to refine your work. This Nine of Earth is freaking adorable. The look on the face of this turtle here is like the best look ever. So we have all of these pentacles. Our turtle is safe and protected from any possible predators. The ocean is right there, so he can go back into the ocean easily. He's got a little seabird friend. And then our Ten of Earth, all of our neatly aligned pearls here. This does still give me, anyways, a bit of a nod back to the Kabbalistic Tree of Life here. But lots of shells around. You definitely get the feeling of opulence and luxury for sure. Our little Page of Earth, our little baby sea turtle, is hatching out of his egg. So cute. I think this is a nautilus. I don't know a lot about them, but he's our Knight of Earth with his pearl, collecting or holding or stewarding. Queen of Earth, kind of turtle here with her babes going back in. And our King of Earth. Now this is the original artwork I said, and I said I wanted to compare the colors. So let's pull in. So actually that looks pretty darn good to me. It looks pretty true. So that is the card. This is the original artwork, and there's our card. And I believe I also have a King of Pentacles in my sample deck. So let's just pull that and compare. Because I think that's what she's done, is I think she did a color correct for the final copy to bring it closer to the original coloring. There we go. Oh, these ones look really close to me. Oh, I see. So in the sample card, yeah, okay, like look at the back of his shell. There's a little bit more contrast. I think actually that the original is closest to my prototype card, but it looks like that Nawan did some like kind of upping of contrast in different spots to kind of make the image pop a little better. Because in theory, the original actually is a little more like washed out or desaturated, I guess, than this final version of the card. So this matches the original, and this feels like a slight uptick in contrast or depth or saturation of the color. I do prefer this version, so I get it. That's cool. Okay, I just was curious what the changes were to the original coloration. All right, so now we're into the fire suit. Now, throughout the cup suit, we had our crab friends, right? We had lots of little crabs and turtles. Crabs and turtles. That was like our thing in the earth suit, which makes sense for the earth suit. Through the fire suit, we have sea salamanders. So we have our ace, very traditional. We have a scuba diver who's considering maybe where he wants to dive. There's a couple different boats out here. There's different ways he can go, and he has a little sea salamander friend just at the top of this staff. In the 3 of fire, we have our sea salamander here looking out over the water. In the 4, we have a couple sea salamanders here under this like protective canopy. And we're fighting over sticks, traditional, for the 5 of fire. Very Rider-Waite-Smith. If you can read Rider-Waite-Smith, you'd be very comfortable, I think, making the switch to this deck. The sea salamander here with the laurel wreath and the wand, getting that recognition. The 7 of fire, our sea salamander here, ready to defend his beliefs or territory. The 8 of fire, again, very Rider-Waite-Smith. I love all the little eddies and currents of air that you see kind of behind the wands, and that still you get this direct alignment of the wands. Our 9 of fire. I love the tails on these little sea salamanders. They're so cute. And the 10. He's trying really hard to get the sticks either out of the sea or into the sea, and he's struggling a little. Then we have our page of fire salamander. Our knight of fire going out on a limb, which is a cool analogy for the knight of fire, actually. Our axolotl and the queen of fire. Oh my god. These look very similar coloration-wise. I don't think a lot had to be done to retouch this one. Or maybe it was already done by the time I got the sample card. And our king of fire. Moving in and out of the element very, very easily. And we're into our water suit. Now, water of water really in this deck when you think about it, because the Healing Waves Tarot is already a very watery deck. But now we get to immerse in water. And so what we see through the cup suit or the water suit are jellyfish, which I think are such a wonderful animal to pick for the water suit, because jellyfish, of course, are very amorphous and fluid kind of in their movements, and they're spineless. That sounded really bad. What's a better way to say that? They don't have that structure, that bone structure in them, right? They're more squishy. I don't know what the word is I'm looking for, but to me they feel very watery. It makes sense. It makes sense in my brain. I'm just not very good at translating it today. But there's our ace of water with this big jellyfish. Love the way that these, the 2 of water looks with these gorgeous dangling fronds from these jellyfish, and the way that they've intertwined their tentacles. Are they tentacles if they're jellyfish, or are they called something else? And I love this card too, the 3 of water. Each individual jellyfish is slightly different shade, bringing something slightly different to their combined group energy. This one cracks me up every time I see it, because to me, this octopus is going, ooh, shiny. Which is actually not usually what we see in the 4 of Cups, which is really interesting. So normally in the 4 of Cups, we see somebody not noticing this extra thing that's being offered to them, and only really noticing what they have, maybe not even noticing that, just kind of lost in the repetition of their life, or kind of lost in sort of a malaise, or like a kind of, they're just not excited about anything. But this shows what happens when you actually look to this 4th thing, this 4th cup. And here we have that excitement and that buzz of like, oh my gosh, ooh, pretty. But that face just cracks me up. It's like, ooh. I just love it so much. All right, 5 of water. Here we have our figure typically on the beach here with 3 spilled cups, 2 upright, and 3 beautiful jellyfish in the water, reminding her that there is more. There's more to life. I love that the 6 of water is narwhals playing among the jellyfish. I think that's so great. Narwhals are such a great symbol for, I think, play and childhood and like idyllic surroundings and things. But of course, they are the unicorns of the sea. Very happy to see them in this deck. Our 7 of water, each jellyfish a little different. Which one do we choose? And the 8 of water, our scuba diver is leaving this little school family of jellyfish and swimming in to discover something else. Love this 9 of water. We have our mermaid in and amongst all these little transparent jellyfish. Just super comfortable and content. And a manta ray, question mark, for the 10 of water and the beautiful rainbow, or the image of a rainbow kind of as it would be seen through water. So we get this perspective. We're sort of under the manta ray looking up at the surface of the water up here. So the rainbow is obviously above the water, like in the sky. And I like the perspective of this card. I think it's really cool. I found out when I did the walkthrough of the sample deck that this is called an angelfish, and it's really stuck with me ever since. I just think it's really dreamy and beautiful for the page of water. I don't know what this is, but it's obviously a kind of jellyfish. Actually, I did encounter the name of this. I think it's called a man of war. It's really cool. I've been obsessed about this deck ever since, yeah, I found out about it. The Queen of Water, beautiful. She looks almost like a mushroom to me, but I love her. I love how like flowy and beautiful she is, but then again, all the jellyfish feel flowy to me. Look at him, King of Water. He's big. Look at this surfer for perspective. He's a big jellyfish. Okay, cup suit is done. We're now into the air or sword suit, and we have our ace of air. I don't know what kind of bird this is. I feel like I should know, but I don't. These look like seabirds or seagulls. I call them seagulls. 3, very traditional here. We have the, I'm guessing a seagull or seabird egg being stabbed. I think I call it seabirds because I think that's what I read was the suit was called, was they were the seabirds, but I think seabird and seagull must be the same thing. If you know, let me know in the comments down below. Our 4 of swords, or 4 of air, this just feels very aligned and peaceful. There is a moment of rest from any long flights. The 5 of air. This seagull has stolen everything from this little baby seagull. Okay, this happens all the time. If you've ever, around here, and growing up, you could feed the seagulls, right? I'm not saying you should, right? But people would feed the seagulls, and you'd toss something out. I've definitely participated in this. But you toss something into the seagulls, and the young ones try to come in and get them, but the big ones are always really aggressive, and they seem to like steal it all from the young ones. And I'm like, hey, let the baby have some. And that's what this literally makes me think of, which is so perfect for the 5 of swords or 5 of air. I love it. Here we have some seagulls being shepherded away from whatever drama they were dealing with on the water by this little ferryman. I love that. 7 of air. Is he about to snark some of those arrows? Probably. 8 of air. Again, very Rider-Waite-Smith, most of these images. The 9 of air. Here we have a penguin. This does feel a little bit out of place because the rest of them are all like very like sunny, warm climate. And then we have this like random penguin, but it is really sad. And it does speak to the fear of all the melting ice. Yeah. And our 10 of air. Really cool though, because of course none of these spear points are actually puncturing. Oh, actually one is. It looks like there's one that has managed to puncture this bird. None of the rest have punctured. And the area that's punctured is down at the tail feather area. So he's actually fine. He's being a little dramatic here. And the page of air is, I think, a puffin. That is a swallow, the Knight of Air. This is great because they do move fast, and the cloud formations really mirror the Rider-Waite-Smith cloud formations as well. And you get that idea of speed here, which of course makes sense for the Knight of Air. Stork, question mark, or swan? I think it's a stork, the Queen of Air. And the King of Air is a big seagull or albatross. I think this is actually meant to be an albatross. I think he's meant to be the bigger version. Because albatross are like really big version of seagull, I think. Right? I mean, don't take my word for any animal identification stuff. We've been over this before on the channel. I'm not great at it. But I love this image. I think it's really beautiful, and it speaks to the really high up perspective that the King of Air often has. And then we have our bonus card, which is the letter. How beautiful is this? A message in a bottle. That could be used in so many ways. So I think that's awesome. All right, let's zoom out. Let's give it a little shuffle. Love the colored edges. They're a matte colored edge. Oh, I'm so excited about this deck. Where's my Fool? Is he in here somewhere? Did I mix my, hold on. Did I mix my Fool? This is like the thing I'm wearing. Oh wait, the cardstock would feel different. Yeah, that's the old Fool. Okay, the Fool's in here, right? I thought I lost my Fool for a minute. My Fool's in the deck. It's fine. Everything's fine. All right, let's give it a shuffle. Oh, okay. Now we find out if the rose petal will work. Yay. So it sticks just the tiniest bit. This will break in really nicely. It's not going to be that super heavy, clumpy, thick, hard to shuffle. And the cardstock doesn't feel too thick to shuffle, which is really lovely. So there's that hesitation. When you first bridge these cards, I'll show you. When you first bridge them and you go to push them together, oh, that was a terrible example. There's the tiniest bit of hesitation smushing them back together. It's almost hard to notice, but I love it. Beautiful. All right. Okay, so we're going to do a little look at the guidebook, and we're also going to do a sample reading from the guidebook. So we're just going to flip and pull a random card, and we have the Judgment card. And we're going to set that to the side, and then we're going to take a peek at the guidebook. And just keep those cards over there. Okay, so really nice hardcover book. So it says, The Healing Waves Tarot, May the Waves Take You Home. So about the Healing Waves Tarot. The Healing Waves Tarot is the indie tarot deck in ocean theme. All of the artwork in the deck was drawn by Nawan June Hasiri, Thai illustrator who has been working with watercolor and has been interested in its healing aspect, and published through crowdfunding campaign by Kamelt Studio Team. Healing has been a subject for the illustrator for a decade. The power of watercolor that help people to be in the moments, observe and feel the power of creativity, and the healing power of the ocean. And as the interest in the healing aspect of tarot grew, this project was started. The Healing Waves Tarot focuses on the healing aspects of all those elements combined. The 79 tarot cards illustrations in the deck was painted by hand in the theme of ocean and natures with a watercolor painting. But instead of using tap water as a medium, the illustrator collected seawater from the ocean and used them to paint all the cards. As we know, the effect of salt water with watercolor will be different from normal water, and it's fun to explore that too. Kamelt Studio Team hope everyone will love this deck, and we appreciated your supports. Without all the backers, this deck will never happen. Wish everyone is healthy and safe, and hope this deck can be a part of your journey. Now, I'll tell you right away, there's definitely some grammatical things here, there's some spelling things here, but I'm aware that the creator does not speak English as their first language. I don't know who's involved in Kamelt Studio. This does have some typos already at the first page. So just keep that in mind when you're going through this. If this was a deck that you purchased, I'm not going to care that much. As long as the meaning gets through, I'm not too worried if the English is not perfect. But keep in mind, I'm making allowances because I love this deck so much. That might be a real deal breaker for some of you. So we get a little bit more information about the major arcana here. Beautiful illustrations through the book so far. And then we get into our individual card meanings, and we have what looks like an image of the card, some keywords underneath, and then a description, including a reversed description. So that's really all I could ask for. Let's take a look at Judgment for a sample write-up, because this is what I love to do. This is really beautiful. So Judgment, here's our Judgment card here. The Judgment card represents announcements and consequences. When this card shows up, it indicates that a news is coming your way. That news can lead to a major event in life. You may need to make a life-changing decision and make it quickly. Alternatively, something you did in the past will be judged. The consequence of your actions will catch up to you. Maybe it's time for self-reflection and evaluation. See what's no longer serve you and set yourself free from them. This card can also signify that a legal matter or court case is going to be resolved very soon. And then in reversed, false accusations, self-denying, resistance, and procrastination. The keywords here are judgment, liberation, redemption, awakening, renewal, transition, accepting things as they are, and announcement. Now, you'll have heard me talk a little bit about, if you're watching Tarot with Training Wheels, you'll have heard me talk about the difference between judgment and justice. I personally feel, based on my understanding of the Judgment card versus the Justice card, that all this talking about consequences is a bit of a mix-up with Justice. At least it is for me personally. This might be a completely valid way to interpret this card, but I see that description, a lot of it around consequences, to speak more to Justice, whereas the speaking here about see what's no longer serving yourself and set yourself free from that, that sounds like Judgment to me. So I feel like they've gotten a little muddled here, or at least, it feels like that to me. But again, I really wanted the book more as a keepsake than anything. I'm so obsessed with this deck. But I mentioned before my bias. So these are things that if I didn't love the deck as much as I do and wasn't as attached to it as I am, I might feel differently about. If this was a deck I was considering buying and I was seeing this guidebook the way that it is and hoping to rely on it, some of those little things might throw me off wanting the book for it. So keep that in mind. Yeah, here, the Earth suit, also known as coins, is associated with physical realm. The water suit of the cup suit represents emotions, feelings, and intuition. Fire suit represents life, energy, new growth, and initiative, passion, and action to manifest things into reality. This all sounds really good. The air suit, symbol of minds, logic, and communications. And we get into the minors. What kind of turtle is this? In this deck, the Queen of Earth card is illustrated as a mother leatherback sea turtle with her babies. They are the largest turtle in the world. Female turtles return to the land at their natal beaches for nesting, while adult male turtles live in the water for their entire life. Wow. I really love the expression on this Four of Water. Yeah, I mean, I'm excited that I have this book, but I don't feel like I'm going to be using it a whole ton because I feel like most of the creatures in this deck I was relatively able to identify. Oh, actually, let's just see. Was it an albatross? Yep, that is an albatross and a king of air. What was the other bird I wasn't sure about? Oh, the first one. Ace of air. This is an osprey, also known as a seahawk. So our ace of air is an osprey. But that is the Healing Waves Tarot. There's no spreads or anything like that in here. It's just a really nice little hardbound book that has all of the images in them, which is really great. I love how you get this like kind of backing design along the pages. It's a really nicely designed book, but I don't see myself carrying this around when I'm working with this deck to refer to this or anything like that. I think it's just nice to have, but if you weren't a collector, this might not matter to you. So I don't know. That's my 2 cents about it. All right. So let me show you what I plan to pair with this deck. I'm really excited. Oh my gosh. Okay, so the Whispers of the Ocean. You guys, I have been waiting. Let's split it this way. Let's split it the way that I would normally do it. So I've been waiting for this deck to come in because I so badly wanted to pair these two. You don't know. So I'm just going to pick 2 cards here to put on top. And then I'm going to zoom this in and we can just take a look at how this all looks. Oh my God. Oh, it's everything I wanted it to be. So obviously a different art style, but they feel cohesive, which is what I was really, really excited for. Like, look at this. Amble with contentment, right? Waiting rather than acting is going to be most advantageous now. And we have the 3 of Earth, so some collaboration, and also 3 of Fire. Wow. 3, 3, and 9. Okay, that's cool. Shared inspiration, and we have the 4 of Earth and the 9 of Earth. We have all this earth. I want something not earth. Hello? Okay, here we have 2 of water and death, and let's match it up with unexplained wonder. The colors of this really work well together for me, and it keeps me in that underwater world. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. Okay, so at the time I'm filming this, I'm planning to work with these 2 decks together for about a week. More if I'm enjoying myself and want to keep going, we'll see. But, oops. I'm really excited about this, in case you can't tell. Like, I'm really excited. So I am going to be using these 2 decks, and I've got to show you the Peggy bag I have to use with both of these. Not meant to be mean, because I think she has more of this fabric, but look at this 2-pocket bag. It's all like coral and undersea, like look. It's all like undersea anemones and corals and things. Isn't that beautiful? And then the inside is a beautiful purple color. So I think it's going to look just great on either side. So I can actually pull my cards on this side, right? That's what they'd look like against that purple background. Or I can flip it over. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. I've been holding on to this too until I had Healing Waves so I could use it for the first time with this deck. Like, look at that. It like keeps me in that beautiful underwater world. Look how pretty. Okay, that's upside down. Still, I'm so excited. I'm such a nerd. I'm so excited. Okay. How many times are you going to say you're excited in this video, Lisa? Probably 8,000 more because I'm ridiculous. All right, my friends, I am over the moon about this deck. I'm so glad that I have it. Now, I want to remind you guys, because I tell people this a lot lately. Shortly after I backed this deck, another deck came into my awareness called the Ocean Tarot by Taylor Hultquist Todd, I believe is the full name. I will have a link to that also down below because that one should be available longer than this one was. The Kickstarter for the Ocean Tarot, I did back it also. The Kickstarter for the Ocean Tarot is now over, But keep an eye out because I have a feeling you'll be able to order that one for a little bit after the campaign is over. So you'll want to check that out on social media. If you're looking for an ocean deck, it has a lot of similar choices made in some of the cards, like the lighthouse for the tower. There's a few others that are very similar. So if you enjoyed this, looking at this deck, and you really are drawn to ocean decks and you want to find a good one, but you can't get your hands on Healing Waves, don't fret. Go check out the Ocean Tarot by Taylor Hultquist Todd. And check that one out instead. You might be surprised. You might find your ocean deck in that one. But for now, I'm going to close this one out. Thank you again so much for joining me for this walkthrough of the Healing Waves Tarot by Nawan, June Hasiri, and Kamel Studio. I'm so glad to finally have this deck in my hands. You just don't know. So thank you so much for hanging out and nerding out with me on oceany stuff. And as always, if you enjoyed this video, please do remember to click the like button. And subscribe if you're new here. Don't forget to click the notification bell. Thank you so much for joining me. And may your magic always shine from the inside out. Bye, guys.